Blood dripped from the knife as Margaret Hensley stood over my daughter's wheelchair, her face twisted in a sneer. "HOA rules," she spat, while Emily gripped her bleeding ribs, her shirt stained crimson. Margaret had no idea I was the county sheriff. She didn't know the patrol cars speeding toward our house were led by deputies who called me boss. Justice was coming, and it wouldn't wait. "Get away from those roses," she'd growled. But this was no simple gardening dispute, it was a reckoning. I was at the sheriff's station 15 minutes away when my phone buzzed. The call shattered my world. Emily's caretaker, Mrs. Lopez, was sobbing. "Sheriff Carter, that HOA woman stabbed Emily. There's blood everywhere. The ambulance is coming." My mind reeled. In 20 years as sheriff, I'd seen crime scenes that didn't haunt me like the image of my 16-year-old daughter, paralyzed since a crash 3 years ago, bleeding out in our backyard. I made the drive in 7 minutes, 3 patrol cars tailing me without a word. My deputies knew Emily was my heart. Our driveway was chaos, neighbors gawking, ambulance lights flashing red, and Emily on a stretcher, an oxygen mask hiding her pale face. Her wheelchair sat by the rose bushes my late wife, Laura, had planted, now spattered with blood. "Emily!" I ran to her, my badge useless against the terror gripping me. Her eyes fluttered. "Dad, I'm okay," she whispered. Mrs. Lopez, trembling, pointed across the street. Margaret stood there, arms crossed, watching with a scowl like she owned the world. Mrs. Lopez choked out the story. Margaret, head of our neighborhood HOA, had stormed into our yard with shears and a knife, hacking at Laura's roses. Emily wheeled out to stop her, pleading for her mother's memorial garden. Margaret's rage exploded, and she slashed Emily 3 deep cuts across her ribs. The paramedics' words hit like bullets. The knife sliced into her 7th and 8th ribs. She needs stitches and surgery to check for internal damage. I kissed Emily's forehead as they loaded her into the ambulance. "I'm right behind you, sweetheart." But I couldn't move yet. Fury burned through me, primal and raw. Margaret didn't flinch as I approached, her pristine cardigan and clipboard screaming arrogance. "Sheriff Carter," she said coolly, "this is unfortunate, but your property violates HOA rules." "Violations?" My voice was a low growl. She flicked her clipboard. "Those roses exceed the 30-inch height limit. I left notices. When you ignored them, I enforced compliance." I stared, disbelief warring with rage. "You trespassed and stabbed my daughter." She smirked. "Your daughter interfered with HOA business." The knife was for twine. It was self-defense. My deputy, Ramirez, leaned in. "We saw the security footage, sir." "She's lying." The video showed it all, Margaret slashing at Emily deliberately when Emily tried to save the roses. Laura's roses. Something snapped inside me. Not my control, but the line between Sheriff Carter and Emily's dad. "Margaret Hensley, you're under arrest for trespass, assault with a deadly weapon, and aggravated battery on a disabled minor." Her smugness crumbled. "You can't arrest me. I'm enforcing regulations," she shrieked as Ramirez cuffed her. "Those roses violate code 5.3. I didn't answer. I followed the ambulance. At the hospital, Emily got 37 stitches and surgery to repair muscle and bone. The doctor said she was lucky half an inch deeper, and her lung would have collapsed. They placed titanium plates on her ribs to help them heal. That night, as Emily slept, I worked the phones, not as a vengeful father, but as a sheriff. By morning, I knew Margaret's history: 3 lawsuits for HOA overreach, a suspended real estate license, and 2 years of skimming HOA fines. I met the DA at dawn. By noon, Margaret faced fraud, embezzlement, and harassment charges. The judge denied bail, citing her attack's brutality. Neighbors we barely knew brought food and flowers while Emily recovered. They shared stories of Margaret's tyranny, families driven out, elderly residents bullied into paying fake fines. 2 weeks later, I wheeled Emily into court for Margaret's hearing. Her lawyer was cocky until the prosecution played the footage. Emily rolling out, pleading for her mother's roses. Margaret's face contorting as she slashed 3 times. The courtroom froze. Margaret's lawyer begged for a recess. She took a plea 8 years for assault, plus restitution for her fraud. Outside, Emily looked up. Dad, can we replant Mom's roses? Taller than 30 inches? I grinned. Absolutely. She smiled, quoting Laura, beauty should never be regulated. Life crept back to normal. The HOA elected a new board focused on community, not control. Emily's scars faded, but they'd always mark that day. 6 months later, I found her in the backyard before school, tending new rose bushes. They're growing strong, she said. Mom would love this. I knelt beside her. Why were you out so early? She adjusted her glasses. I dreamed about Mom. She said beautiful things come after terrible days. She touched a bush stretching past the old height limit. She said fear shouldn't stop us from growing. I looked at my daughter, tougher than anyone I knew, and felt a weight lift. I've been angry at Margaret, at myself for not being there. Your mom was the smartest, I said. Emily nodded. Dad, I want to start a support group at school for kids with disabilities. They're scared to speak up. I helped adjust her wheelchair. That's brilliant. She hesitated. I wasn't sure before. I thought people would only see my scars or the chair. But standing up matters, even when it's scary. Later, a letter from a state arrived. Margaret's appeal was denied. She'd serve her full sentence. That evening, the mayor called. Carter, the city wants to overhaul HOA rules after what happened. We need someone who gets the law and the community. You in? I glanced at Emily. Maybe, but I'll need my chief, advisor. She raised an eyebrow. I explained, and she lit up. Start with rules against trespassing and protecting memorial gardens, she said. I laughed. Perfect, Chief Advisor Carter. That night, as I tucked her in, Emily grabbed my hand. I'm not angry anymore, Dad. It takes too much energy. I'd rather change things. I kissed her forehead, awed by her wisdom. When did you get smarter than me? She grinned. Always was. I just let you be sheriff to feel important. We laughed, and it felt real for the first time in months. The next day, a letter came for Emily from Margaret. I'm sorry, it read. There's no excuse. I see your face every day and feel shame. I don't expect forgiveness, but I know I was wrong. Emily read it twice, then folded it away. What do you think? I asked. People can change, she said, but only if they're held accountable first. She rolled to the backyard, checking the roses now blooming wildly. Like Emily, they'd grown stronger, their scars only making them more vibrant. I watched, realizing Emily had found a balance. I was still chasing justice, tempered with mercy. The roses and my daughter taught me healing comes not from vengeance, but from growth. What do you think? Should Emily forgive Margaret? Or is accountability enough? Should HOA rules ever justify trespassing or violence? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more stories that make you think.